Now, I started these videos back in January, my second time coming to Cartagena, coming to Colombia for New Year's. Since then, based off of comments and questions that people have asked, I've moved more into the realm of not exclusively vacationing, but also what the day-to-day life is like. This is for people that are wanting to become or already are digital nomads, and for people that are wanting to become expats in different countries, whether it be to permanently stay until death do they part, or if it is a process of burning out a visa, which in Colombia specifically, you can do it for 3 months, get a renewal for another 3 months. So you can technically get about 6 months in Colombia. And so this month that I spent of May in Colombia, I went through 5 different cities. I started in Cartagena, I moved to Medellin, I got to stay in Guatapé, and then I finished the tour with Barranquilla and Santa Marta. Now, of course, all these cities have their pros and cons, but what was most surprising to me is just how different each city was. Whether it was on pricing for drinks and nightclubs or hookahs, or whether it was the fact that certain cities didn't have Uber available or InDriver, which is basically Colombia's Uber when you need to hail a taxi. Other ones, there was no moto taxi at all. In certain cities throughout the week, it would be completely silent, and their only party days would have been a Friday night, Saturday night, and then the city goes dead again. So as I've been putting out these videos, I want you to take in the information and what I'm showing you, because you may be wondering, well, what is the quality of life here? Now, the quality of life that I found was all higher than what I might maintain here myself in Florida. But there are also different things that certain cities have available to them. Obviously, Cartagena is on the coast and Medellin is more inland. Their nights are actually cold. You can wear a sweater and be just fine. In Cartagena, you would never think of even putting on anything longer than a quarter sleeve. So those are some of the differences. Also, where you can raise a family versus where you can be a bachelor. Every city had available activities for families, for couples, and for bachelors and bachelorettes. But of course, some had more than others. Now, at this time, we all know Cartagena has a rap for its sexual tourism, and that is one of the most widely videotaped cities right now, I could arguably say, in the world, because this is where most people are going to. However, Medellin is the closest thing you have to a New York City, South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or a Los Angeles. It's very developed, it's very modern, the cars are modern, the streets are paved and modern, the street lights are modern, and everything runs as if it were a city there in Medellin. So Barranquilla is also on the coast as well, but very different. Santa Marta is more known to be a sleepy town. It's better to vacation there with family, but as far as nightlife goes, they have a beautiful boardwalk, which everyone comes out to after sunset when it's much cooler. And there's 2 sides to Santa Marta. You have a south side of Santa Marta that's on the coast, and then you have a north side of Santa Marta that's on the coast, where this is the Tiberian area, where you'll find the museums, the boardwalks. They have the port out there as well. And recently I posted some drone shots of Santa Marta. So, in saying all that, there are a few things that I want to go over when it comes to being smart abroad. And there's a lot of different things that you can do in order to maintain your safety while abroad. All right, so a few more things, and let me pull out my notes in order that I can go over these things properly, because I've given them a lot of thought, and I wanted to just be accurate as to what I saw, what I felt. I'm 30 years old, middle-aged, working-class gentleman, so I can speak Spanish pretty fluently. That's always a help. That's always a boost when understanding what's going on, customs, making sure you're not being taken for a ride as a tourist, and many other factors. But the language barrier is going to be your greatest challenge or your greatest friend, because Colombia you are not going to find too many people that are speaking English and that can speak English fluently enough to give you the type of information and the feedback that you're looking for. So that is also something to keep in mind. Now, one thing that was interesting, which it took me to my third try to visit to really understand, was that the toilets, you do not generally put toilet paper in the toilets when it comes to most of the Colombian residences, especially the Airbnbs that you'll find inner city. You don't put toilet paper in the toilet. You ball it up, you put it in a basket, and you take it out at night. Now, what I found through this was that you may think that there might be an odor or a scent or some sort of cross-contamination with these types of things, but no, for the most part, it is still very cleanly, and it's done on a daily, nightly basis, and there should be no reason for it to ever pile up to where you gain an infestation or roaches or rats or anything of that sort. And to be honest, I never saw a rat. Possibly roaches, but not in the way that a house with food is infested with insects and bugs and vermin and things of that sort. So that was one of my first points that I wanted to bring up because I thought it to be very interesting, and I thought that people would probably want to know this as well. Now, the second thing was traveling. Yeah. I found a new form of traveling when it comes to city. It's called Balanstar. Balanstar, I found it in Cartagena, and they will take you to Barranquilla, they will take you to Santa Marta. I flew to Medellin, so I do not know if they will make that 13-hour trip to Medellin, but I found the trip to Santa Marta and Barranquilla to be very, very cost efficient. Myself and my girlfriend that was with me, I believe we paid 30,000 mil pesos or 35,000 mil pesos each to get from Cartagena to Barranquilla, from Barranquilla to Santa Marta, another 65 or 70,000, and then to come back to Cartagena from Santa Marta for both our tickets, it was about 135,000 mil pesos. So it was a great way to travel. Barranquilla, Cartagena to Barranquilla is about an hour and a half, and then you sum it up with another hour and a half to 2 hours to get from Barranquilla to Santa Marta. But the trip back was very smooth. I know I have heard stories of people that have been on these Balanstar mobile transportation services, and people that were on these transports were imposters, and the Balanstar mobile bus transport ended up being robbed because one of the gentlemen inside the bus took the bus over at knife point, had him pull over. His other two friends got on the bus, and they ransacked it for whatever everyone had. So these are possibilities as well when driving with public transportation. It's not going to happen all the time, but you should be aware of the possibilities and how crafty the locals might be in order to gain what you have. So those are some of the stories. There's horror stories, but it's not all the time, and there's ways that you can pretty much set yourself up to be in a better position. When you are traveling like that, if you are in a confined area, there's certain ways you might want to pack your things. You might want to keep your valuables more at the bottom. You might not want to be driving on the bus with your jewelry out, with your bracelet, with your watch, because at the end of the day, we are going into a different country that survives by different means of survival. There's only so many different things you could do while walking around with a watch, with an expensive phone, with expensive shoes, clothes, chains, and earrings, and continuously ask the people not to rob you is something that would be very difficult for them to do, being that they are in the situation that they're in. So there's a certain level of understanding and precautionary measures that you would want to take in order that you can keep yourself out of situations. It's best to go unnoticed. Now, certain times it might be impossible because you are American, we have our own style of dress, our own style of walk, and it's very noticeable to everyone on the outside. But I'm here to let you know that people are looking for easy catches. Villains are looking for easy victims. Allow yourself to go unnoticed, and there will be another one next to you that is a little bit brighter than you, that is a little bit more talkative than you, that will go ahead and gain all the attention that you're wishing to avoid. So those are also good points to make sure that you keep in mind when traveling abroad. Understand what the poverty level is at. Now, not everyone's in dire straits. You have a lot of people that work in tourism. You have a lot of people that work down at Boca Grande, but those job slots are very limited. There's only so many of them that can go out into these jobs and actually earn a profit. If they were to give the job to everyone in the country, there'd be no real profit margin to be made. So these are things that you want to keep in mind. Now, also a new topic that I recently came up on is sending money and receiving money. The new app is called Remitly. Remitly will allow you to send money directly to Colombia and other foreign countries, either through a supermarket cash pickup, directly to some of the bank accounts that Remitly has a relationship with, or through a card payment, and they will be able to use it as a digital card. Remitly is great for its conversion rate because as of right now, when sending money to Colombia, I'm able to get 4.1 to the dollar, whereas Western Union will send it about 3.85, 3.8. And then a new topic I learned was that Colombians don't get the same conversion rate as Americans or even expats, I would assume. If I send my money to a Colombian, they will get the lowest on the conversion rate, about 3.3, 3.5 on the conversion rate. If I'm able to send the money to myself, which most of the times you can't because they'll flag fraud, but if my sister send money to me as an American, not only do I have to go to a different Western Union to receive the money, but I will receive the money at 3.78, 3.82, 3.85, depending where I am, San Andreas versus Cartagena versus Medellin. So that was also a very interesting fact. Right now, I'm going strictly with Remitly. I'm not even using ATMs because the $5 transaction fee will add up after a while. And they're only allowing you to pick up through a Banco Colombia ATM 600,000 mil pesos, which it's only about 2 days. Really, realistically, it's only about 2 days worth of fun. And for some people, that might only be one night in the clubs if you are getting hookahs and drinks and you're entertaining a few friends. So these things can add up very quickly. So the method that I have been using for my finances is to send money through Remitly, and in any establishment that I can pay with a credit card, I will go ahead and pay with a credit card. Now, when they bring you the machine, they will ask you, do you want to pay in USD or COP? Make sure that you always pay in COP because the conversion rate still hasn't been performed yet, and you will still get a better conversion on that COP than if you send them a direct $38 USD. There is no conversion. They will get the conversion after it's been deposited into their account. What we want is a conversion from our account into their account. That's how we win, and that's how you make a stand on what is going to happen with your finances while abroad. Because this is another thing. In Colombia, people are not looking too far into the future. You will be taken by storm if you feel that you are in some sort of third world jungle and everyone just needs your help. You've already lost, you're already behind, and your money will be taken from you quicker than you know. The best thing to know is that this is equal with your country. There are ups, there are downs, there are the haves, and there are the have-nots. If you are coming to a country and you want to make a difference, don't bring everything with you. Take everything with you. Come to a country with nothing and buy up the things that you want. Buy up the clothes, buy up sheets, buy up glassware and silverware, buy pillows for your house. The shipping or the carry-on is going to be 10 times cheaper than had you done it in your own country. 9 times out of 10, probably 100 times out of 10, it's going to be 10 times cheaper. So this is what you do. You want to help an economy, you want to promote goodwill, you want to feel like, well, I did my part more than just spectating the people as if they were part of the entertainment and a zoo. Come there with money to spend, but know how the money is being spent. It's very important to know what things are going for and how to find things outside of tourist areas. The things that you buy in Boca Grande, for example, is not going to be the same price that you can find things for in Cartagena just 15, 20 minutes outside the Boca Grande area, just outside the walled city area. It doesn't take long for prices to drop when it comes to housing, when it comes to products, when it comes to services, and especially when it comes to food. It does not take much time at all. The show is going on only in the tourist area. Everyone else has no time for that show. They are either working in the market of it, or they are an accessory to it in some way, shape, or form. So those are a few ways that you can go ahead, make your money stretch when you are on vacation. Now, know this as well, as I stated before, Colombians might not think too far into the future, and their business practices might be a little bit more crude and things that we feel that we've already developed beyond. So most of the time, whatever you ask, they'll say that they have a person for it. But that might not actually be true at all times. So they will always say that they have a person that can provide a service, that can get you a ride, that can do whatever you're looking for, but that might not always be so. A lot of times it might be what you might find with Colombian people is that they're trying to offer you a service or say they can provide you with something that they truly can't themselves, but they have the resources to find the other person. It's up to you to know who you are communicating with and if you find this person to be trustworthy. 9 times out of 10, you can find a lot of services through the taxi drivers or through the people that are on the beach. But understand, no one is working for nothing. Everyone is working for a price. So there will always be a give and take. So if you find yourself coming back to a country more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, begin to build some relationships with people. A small gift goes a long way to a local that knows that you thought about them even though you were away from them and out of sight. Because for the most part, they're trying to get whatever they can out of you as fast as they can because they figure you will not be back, the money is growing on a tree for you, and that you will not take the time to go ahead and hunt them down for these things because it might not be as big a deal for you, or you understand that you can get it back. Or you might even guilt trip yourself into believing that it's your fault that you got taken for a ride. All these are huge negatives, and we do not want to fall into traps like this. We do not want to fall into the mental handcuffs of restricting ourselves on things that we earn through our own hard blood, sweat, and tears. So you must always keep that in mind. Next point that we're going to be talking about is if you want a normal girl. So we know what these cities are known for. We know what goes on in Colombia. It goes on all over in the world. If you are continuously saying that you are trying to find a normal girl, a basic girl, a working girl, well, then you have to go where working girls are. You have to go to their jobs, obviously. And if you find one that has a job, you can rest assured that she might not be doing any other activity outside of that job. For one, it's already hard to receive it. For 2, you can be easily replaced. For 3, there's too much on the line that this person might be providing for other people and her family as well as her own, that she cannot take the risk of losing this. So you may find this to be a better match for you than just meeting up with somebody in the club. Because in the club, on the streets, you're going to lose. They have casino odds when it comes to foreign countries as far as finding a normal girl that isn't working for anything at all. They have casino odds. So stay out of the casino and go to a real establishment if this is something that you want to do. This will take time, as in any sort of courting situation. You will need to wine, dine, build communication. If you lack the language, they already know not to spend any time with you. They already know why you're here and what you're about, and they will not play themselves into believing that you are any different than the last 100,000 that came through the country. So if language is not a thing for you, this is not a game that you can play. And so I move on to our next topic. Airbnbs. This was amazing information I found at this time. And what it came down to was that you can go ahead and send an offer to an Airbnb host, and if they accept your offer, they can go ahead and send you that offer back. You can make your booking, and get it at a greatly reduced price. All it takes is sending out some emails, sending out some messages, letting them know possibly that you don't intend to have any parties, it's just you and your wife or your kids, you won't make the place too dirty, or that you have a project. Maybe you're a YouTuber, you'd like to film their location for just a night or two. These are all possibilities that will allow you to receive a cheaper Airbnb in reality. And another person, another frequent traveler is the one that explained this to me. And I used it, and I was definitely successful in it. I started to rent the places, my Airbnbs, for 1 or 2 nights, and then I would contact the host directly, and I would send them the money in cash. Either paying them in cash, sending it through PayPal, wiring it through Remitly, but this will greatly reduce your costs. You can go ahead and take a very nice $43 a night place and get it at $35, $32 a night. Especially if it's coming with the insurance that this is guaranteed money that I'm willing to give you. If you don't think you're going to have anybody for the next week, then why not give it to me for a discounted price than rather missing out on the whole price together? People in Colombia definitely understand that concept of get what you can, not what you want. So this will always work out in your favor. This will definitely work out in your favor. And it's not a cheat, it's not a crook, it's not a loophole. It's another way of conducting business by using your mind and knowing that there are better ways to do one thing. There are more cost-efficient ways to receive what you would like and to stretch your money for a little bit further. Throughout this time of my whole month, traveling throughout Colombia, doing 5 cities, about 7 to 8 different Airbnbs, a few flights back and forth, my girlfriend and myself, paying for babysitters, I didn't go over $2,000. I didn't go over $2,000 for 30 days in Cartagena, or for 30 days in Colombia, traveling throughout Cartagena, Medellin, Guatapé, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta. I didn't go over $2,000. This is myself. This is 3 meals a day. These are Airbnbs that have 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, big living rooms, up-to-date technology when it comes to microwaves, television, internet access. These are great places that you can stay in. These are great areas that I was able to eat in, and these were affordable services that I was able to obtain as activities and tours and museums throughout my 30 days in Colombia. And I can tell you that I only stayed in the hotel maybe 3 days out of my 30 as days for recouping, editing my content, entering any emails, and furthering the mission of getting these stories out to you, which is why now I built this recap in order that we can go more in depth on the information that you see and you can gain a better understanding as to what you would like to know. And that's why I started taping and interviewing expats and digital nomads so that we can understand what is life like past the extended stay. What is life like past the 2 weeks on vacation? A lot of us are wanting to travel abroad, stay abroad, and jump around. Well, this is the type of content that I'm now able to provide to you because I've spoken with people that are boots on the ground and that are doing the very same things that you would like to do. And I'm showing you how easy it is to obtain the exact same lifestyle. One thing I forgot to mention with the Airbnbs, now that I've looked at my notes, beware of the fake listing. When you see someone has been on Airbnb for about 7 to 8 years, they have 1 property listing, 2 property listings, and they have no reviews, stay away. Red flag warning, stay away. They will ruin your trip. They will cause you to be filled with fear because you are now abandoned in a city that you may not know the language, that you may not know the area, and you have just been dropped off by your taxi in a secluded area because, let's just be honest, when we're picking areas on Airbnb, the map is skewed. Let's just be honest, when we're picking areas on Airbnb, we do not always know where we are really picking. We do not always know We do not always know how close or how far the proximity is from tourist areas. Our best guesstimation is the prices and how far we think it is from the coastline. But I'm here to tell you, the maps are greatly skewed for very tiny cities. So what may look like 10, 15 minutes away might only be 5 to 8. But because the map is so skewed and we fail to use the graphs and the legends and things of that sort, we might say, man, I'm so far outside of the walled city, or I'm so far outside of the main attractions. But really, you're not at all. Everything's a taxi ride away. So the fake listings is something that you have to be aware of. And if it says non-refundable, you can almost bet your bottom dollar on it, it's a fake listing. Because everyone else will allow refunds practically up until 24 hours to an hour of your reservation, the well-established companies. So if it doesn't have reviews, if they're saying there's no refunds, don't book it. Stay smart and keep your coins in your pocket. Now, as we continue on, I will be releasing more videos from Medellin at this point. I will show you a tour of Guatapé, and then from there we'll move into Barranquilla and Santa Marta, which is the north side of Colombia. These places are night and day from each other. The type of women you will see, the things that they indulge in for entertainment, the amount of casinos and pool halls that might be in one city, the amount of bars and clubs that might be in another. Certain cities are very big on webcam services and sex shops. Other cities are very big on artwork and museums and parks, like Barranquilla. They have the Malecón. It is a beautiful boardwalk with a great park in it. So stay with me, stay tuned as I bring you more recaps and more content of what Colombia has to offer you as a vacationer, as a bachelor, as a family, and as a potential expat that will be living out their last days. Thank you.